So our speaker now is the fabulous, amazing Sameera Ali Baba, who is ICF PCC. She's been a colleague of mine and a friend for over 10 years at least. So passionate, full of energy. I know this will be an amazing interactive session. And now over to you, Sameera.
Thank you, Claire. Hello, everyone. Let me just share my screen here. As a normal dialogue starts within the Zoom sessions, right? Welcome, everyone. So this session is titled Interdependence, the Key to Collective Performance. Claire did a good job telling about me. So in addition to what she said, I am also an ICA Agile team facilitator, coach, and other things. I don't think you need a lot of introduction about me. You can read that later on. I want to know more about you. Now, one question. Mero, write in the chat box, are you familiar on how to use Mero? The chat box. Yep. Let me see. Iman Sehwan, yes. Yes. All right. So what I'll do is I'm going to share the link. If you want to use it, totally fine. If not, again, totally fine. Just let me know, because let me just remove that. I'll just share the link. Anyone with the link can edit. Just be mindful not to delete everyone's comments. You can use the link in the chat box to come to my Miro. If you want to follow me and see where am I, you just go in the, if you see where I'm pointing right now, and click on my name, which says follow Sameera, and between time to time, I'll bring everyone to me. Okay, so let's see. Wow, we have 2 people here, and it's totally fine. Let's give you another second. 3 of you here, excellent. Wow, 4 of you here, that's good. And anyone can join anytime throughout the session. Hey, Iman, I can see your cursor. So the first activity to work with, I want you to grab one of these dots and as a group, collectively, try to create the letter L with the number 3. And let's take a time on how long that would take. Take the letter L, pick one of these dots and try collectively. So we are looking at 1 L and 1 number 3. So let's see how long that would take you to do. Right. And remember, you will need to collaborate together without communication. Good. Excellent, excellent. Wow. And I can see, oh, somebody's making number 3 and somebody's working on letter L. Excellent. If you right click on the dots, you can duplicate it. Wow. This turned out to be better than I thought. And you have another batch of circles on the left side top. So you can pick from the, okay, excellent. Excellent. So number 3 is almost there. Ooh, so we're waiting for the L. Excellent. So everybody's collaborating. And we have around 43 seconds. Great. Almost. Wow, that's great. And some of you guys are actually trying to perfect and fill the gaps in the middle. Did you notice that? Well done. Excellent job. I mean, this is the best time I've done it and nobody worked in such collaborative way. And remember, guys, you don't even know each other. So one of the things that makes us special as, I like that, the hashtag, thank you. Right? One of the things that makes us special as creatures, human beings, they have the ability, we have the ability to collaborate with huge number of people, extremely large number of groups, without even knowing each other. So that's why the systems of the countries, the religious groups, the thought leaders, the tribes, they all can work together regardless whether they know each other personally or not. So we are taking this as the premises of our discussion today, right? So the next question is, I'll bring you all to me. How do you like to eat your chicken? So pick up one of these sticky notes on the bottom and write for us, how do you like your chicken? Let's see. Just pick up one. I just brought them up. So you're all here. Pick one of these cards and write, how do you like to have your chicken? Sameera, from collaboration to chicken. Okay, and it's lunchtime anyway, we're getting hungry. How do you like your chicken? How do you like your chicken, Claire, these days? And if you don't eat chicken, that's totally fine. How do you like your chicken, Claire? Cooked, I like that very much. Machboos, oh, roasted, sandwich, fried rice, chicken and chili. Barbecue, love that, love that. What is the relationship between what are we doing and chicken? So this group of people work together collaboratively when it comes to their preferences on one simple item such as chicken. They can be different, right? Butter chicken, I love that. So our today's session, the example and the metaphor I'm gonna use is from an experiment done in a chicken farm. This gentleman here, his name is Bill Moore, and this entire presentation was inspired by a TED Talk as well. So I'm gonna share the link with you in the same board, and you can actually use it, print it, and work on it later on. So what they noticed that in this chicken farm, they were checking what type of chickens they give the most or more eggs. So they came to know that they had two types of chicken. They had one type of chicken who laid eggs more than others, and one who did lay egg, but not in a big quantity. By doing further analysis, they noticed that those who did more or laid more eggs were actually not doing it because they were actually good in laying eggs. They were doing it because they were poking other chickens and biting them or breaking their eggs. So did you notice the way the other chicken, and they called them the red zone chicken, they worked in a way that for me to win, you need to lose. And the other type of chicken, the green zone chicken, they were working in a collaborative way. So they said, okay, let's do some experiment and try to control this. So they, if you notice that, they tried to make a kind of like a separate cages for each of them, which was costly. So I wanted to think as this metaphor in organizations, not to let high achievers clash with others, we'll just give them separate offices. Then they tried something else. They were trimming their, what do you call this, beaks? The chicken nose. They were actually trimming them. And that was a painful process for them. So if we take this metaphor and try to implement it in our organizations, so those who actually are very aggressive and push others aside, do we, in a way, cut their nose? So that can happen by those tough calls when we sit with them. You need to be more helpful with your team. You need to help others. And we all know where that discussion goes, right? So they did an experiment. They said, okay, in what ways we can just increase the genetics of those cute, nice, friendly chicken? They separated those who are extremely nice, the green zone chicken, and the red zone chicken. And the outcome was, after a year, so they had 5 generations. Apparently, chickens do grow and have generations faster than us. So after 5 generations, they noticed something very interesting, guys. The green zone chicken increased productivity up to 200, I think, yeah, 60 or 80%, 280% increase in productivity of laying eggs. That's been said because they didn't have the aggressive chicken to break their eggs or kill them eggs. And if you are looking at my screen or my mirror board, you will see this what happened to the red zone chicken after a year, or at least what was left from them. Yeah. So these were actually high achievers, if we notice in the beginning of our discussion. They were the chickens who were doing the maximum number of eggs. So by isolating high achievers who have aggressive behaviors and not necessarily bad intentions, we ended up by individuals or chickens that harmed each other. And if we take this metaphor into our organizations, what we see is high achievers, they tend to either leave or develop toxic behaviors, right? So these are some of the characteristics, and I'm not sure whether you ever came across this in your own organizations or while working with the teams. So in red zone, the blame is there. They don't understand me. They don't get me. I'm different. I have a different background. I don't trust them. I don't want to do this. I've done this before. They cut my nose. They brought me a coach. And in the green zone, there are people who will say, I'm staying in this organization because I enjoy working with the team. I love the way how different and collaborative we are. I like working with this team because I'm learning so much from different people. It's a very good environment for us to foster creativity. So that's the green zone behavior, right? So the behavior of the red zone in the research, when they reflected on that, they came up with an idea that the defensiveness as a behavior, the root of it comes out of fear. Interesting. So let me take you here. If you remember this, how familiar you are with the drama triangle? Right? Good. I can find some answers in the chat box. So apparently, after time, when we don't include these voices of high achievers who are aggressive, they turn out to take a specific role, such as I try to save this organization, they need to implement what I say, I learned this previously, I have my way or their way, or I will punish them. They don't know where I come from. I'm going to just implement what I want. Or I tried it hardly, but nobody is accountable, right? So, as we said, the defensiveness does not protect us from other people. It defends us from fears we don't want to feel. So why we come here? I mean, where this came from? One of the reasons of the same research, and then this talk was done also by Jim Tam, a former law professor and a judge, and also a person who works with organizations, kind of like a mediation, I think, if that's what how it's pronounced. It says people get defensive if the issue is about our significance or our likability or our competency. That means if we are working with seniors, especially this is quite obvious in senior board, maybe I don't want them to like me, but I want them to feel that I'm important. Significance can come even in the race discussions. I am more important than that person. Or in the competency, I have a PhD or I have a certification or qualification. And if people don't appreciate that, the aggressive behaviors come in. And it can be passive aggressive, like withdrawal from the discussion, right? So these are a couple of the characteristics of what happens if we go into that zone. And I'm sure you guys are not in that zone. You know, they withdraw from the meetings, they keep quiet in the meetings. Important discussions are not done. Or I want to be right. Or let's blame, it's not my fault, it's the organization's fault. And also when they're aggressive, it's kind of interesting when people are in their aggressive mode, as Claire was saying, the cortisol will come in and hijack your brain. It actually reduces our IQ to take proper decisions. Why am I bringing this here? Because in certain discussions, when we talk about EDI, and there we need to be in the other side of our brain where acceptance is high. Our thinking abilities, the cognitive thinking is quite strong to accept the differences and appreciate everyone's input. But when we are in the aggressive place, and sometimes the organization does things and apply policies, which by default, the product becomes, the outcome is people are not appreciated for their differences, right? So again, we all have different reasons. I listed a couple of reasons here, but you are free to pick the sticky notes in the bottom of this page, okay, and add to these, or you can also say, if you were ever, I would not use the word victimized, but sense that you are not included because one of these reasons or any reason that I didn't put here. Right, so let me give you a minute to reflect on this. Let's say, for example, if different identity was one of the things, so you just click on that and bring it here and say, I can relate to this. And I'll just put it in front. Bring it front. And to be honest, that's actually quite straightforward. I was faced because of that, the identity and also the gender. So in my work as a coach, sometimes organizations would say, well, that's nice, we want to have a coach. However, Sameera, these are board members, these are executives, and we prefer to have a man to coach them. And do you see where my brain went, right? Me talking about reflection, about cognitive availability and acceptance, and I wasn't in my full mental acceptance place because it really triggered a value inside my system, right? Or age. I'm sure, Claire, you came across this in the beginnings of the rise of coaching in this part of the world, where I said, I am 50, 60 years old. And who are you, 30, 25 or 35 years old coach who want to coach me?
Totally, absolutely. And also the thing around title. So I am CEO. What could someone else teach me?
Right. This brings us a lot to the to an area. Maybe Claire, what do they really know about coaching? This was one of my questions. What do you really know? Do we have enough awareness here? And is it we're gonna coach the team leaders, but not their team members? So we are talking about inclusion here, right? Every voice matters when it comes to team coaching and delivering collaborative, collective results. And there is a lot of knowledge and wisdom in all team members, right? So coping style, different personalities, different abilities, disabilities, age, different ways of work. All these are the ways where we are missing out a lot of talent and input for no real reason, right? And of course, it comes the ethnic group and race and so on. So let me take you somewhere else now. Where do we stand? Now, when you work, when I work with a team or board or you know, a team that is working on a product, not necessarily an executive team, a product team or a project team, I need to start my place where I need to diagnose the situation for them, not for me just to understand, for them to know where do they stand. What are the behaviors that are working for us? What is lying between the lines? And I came across requests such as, oh, no, Sameera, we know what's going on. Just these are the 7 people. Start coaching next week, 2 sessions per person. That's it, 14 sessions to go, and so on. And I tell them it's not like that, because if we didn't deal with what's between the lines, it will come as a barrier as we move forward. Right? So there are different ways, of course. We can always start with team assessments, and that's a good place. We do have our own team assessment. However, if you are feeling that I can work creatively with them, sometimes in the very beginning of an engagement, they don't even trust the assessments. They don't want a link to be sent to them. Who is this person who will know everything about us? I'm not going to answer. They try to trick the assessment sometimes. So I start with them with a soft launch of a kind of like bringing awareness to them. If you see my screen, I have a slide which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 weather conditions. Can you see it? Do you see it? Okay, let's take around 30 seconds. I want you to look at each of them and then just reflect on how does that feel? Just feeling, I mean, hot and dry, how would that feel? Stormy, spring and pleasant, frozen, something that we will never experience in our part of the world. Blooming, sunny, plenty of sun here. Okay, so this experiment is for you guys. If you are on my Miro board, totally fine. You can pick one of these dots and place it on the image. I'll try one with you and then show you how it can be done with an actual team or a group of people in one room. So in which weather, okay, let me just demonstrate one of them. If I bring one of these dots here, which weather represents your current job status at the moment? Okay, so if this dot was, let me just duplicate that, mine, I will say it's blooming. What is it for you? And for those who are in the meeting, you can write it in the chat box. Your current job, which weather represents your current job status right now? And for those who are on the board, you can pick up one of the, let me just share this one more time in the chat box. Wow, rainy. Oh, yep, some nice and interesting. Iman, autumn and dead, right? Okay, I want you to look at the dynamics on the board itself or the screen in the Zoom if you're watching that. Let me shift. Family life. Which weather represents your family life right now? And of course, you can write it in your chat box. Well done. Excellent. Excellent. One step further, your self-development. Which weather represents your self-development right now? The status, how much you're, you know what happened in the last 7 months? There are crazy amount of free available workshops, webinars. I think it increased over 10,000 times, right? Your health status. Wow, that's a big question, Sameera. Your health status.
We had a lot of stormy in the chat box, and now we've got lots of blooming and sunny.
Isn't it? Isn't it? You know what happens, Claire, sometimes? This conversation takes us, when we are done, into what areas of your life that is blooming and promising that can help you to improve areas that are not as you want.
I love that. And also drawing on strengths. So we're good at this. And what if there's even more of that in our lives? I think it's also really important to also go deeper in terms of, so frozen, what's frozen to you?
Exactly.
Because it can mean different things to different people, bringing in inclusivity.
True. That's thank you for bringing that up. Actually, that's our conversation over what frozen means, because frozen is actually a good weather for some of us. They love it. They love to see ice or snow, right? Fruitful relationship, financial stability. Let me try it with this last one, financial stability. Where are you right now in terms of financial stability? Very interesting. Great. Yeah. It's not working well, Sameera. It's not working well. Please stop doing this. So I use sometimes metaphor to start the conversation in a team, and especially if it's a diverse team, right? I like you guys are annotating on the screen. That's totally fine. You can do that as well. So I do the same with the team, bringing it to their context. And I ask them question, where are we in terms of the way we communicate with each other? The leadership style in this team. And they start placing their cards or the dots. And if it's virtual, I do it this way. Your role, the level of collaboration we have in this team, the ability to deliver results, the way we resolve our conflicts within this team, the quality of our output. We might deliver results, but that not on the level of quality required. How much opportunity to grow we have, and this is a big question, because that the EDI conversations can come in this one. Things like, it's not for everyone, Sameera. They don't send us for training. It's only for the local nationals. Or it's only for the young generation. It's only for managers. Or sometimes they don't invite us in the conversation, Sameera, because they think we are too technical for that. So look at the conversations related to EDI here. Job satisfaction and creativity, right? So this can be one of the things that I use with the team members. I keep the dots in the bottom and I'll ask them, and they start plotting it. And I keep it anonymous intentionally, because it's not about a person, it's about the entire team collectively to look at where they stand. Another method I use, I call it the color grid, energy and pleasantness, where I ask people to pick one of the dots and tell them, where are you when you attend your work on Sunday morning, if that's applicable, on Monday mornings for them, right? Highly pleasant, highly energetic, so they place their dot here. Let me ask you that actually. Yellow means my level of happiness and pleasantness is high, my energy is high. Red means my energy is high, but I'm not happy. I'm the red zone chicken, right? Blue means my energy is low and I'm not happy at that moment. Green means I'm quite relaxed and happy, but I don't have much energy. So let me ask you this question. Where are you in which zone when you attend your staff meetings nowadays? Right? And sometimes it's good for us as coaches to reflect. Where am I when I meet this client? When I'm done with the coaching session?
I love that so much. And also the thing around, and what is it that is impacting my energy around working with this client compared to this client?
Isn't it? I like that, Claire. Because we are human beings as well, right? We are trained not to have the judgment part. We are trained to be aware. However, you remember, because we go into experiences, we need to know and be curious about our own behavior and reflection and biases. Is it because what the coachee said? Is it because what they represent? Was it anything related to my values? Right? And what is there? So exploring these areas, as simple as using it on a mirror board or even as mats on the ground, and you can see how people are working. It's kind of like mix of using geography, somatic coaching, and constellation. It's like a blended approach, right? So we also, the last part of this idea was, one of the reasons, only one of the reasons, is for us to have a more, let's say, collaborative and interdependent team who depend on each other to finish a job and also work on their own tasks to complete the big picture. That was my door. Okay, so you can look at this. Let me just come back. Patrick Lencioni. So Patrick wrote this book about the ideal team player. He also wrote a very nice book about the 5 dysfunctions of team. So his idea was, because when we start, coaching teams and team of executive, team of board, or team of project, a specific project, the team design comes in the beginning. Claire, my doorbell is ringing. Can you take over for 1 minute, please? I don't know who's there. Okay, thank you. And welcome to the Zoom.
So I'm going to talk about our team level profile. We know that we can assess people in terms of, are they a finisher? Are they a plant who really works on, process and detail, for example? A team level profile that we use, the TAP 360, is looking at the whole team at team level, and it's linked to high impact and high performing team data. Now, the reason this is really useful is because it gives data for the team leader in terms of the way they are from 360 perspectives, what the team think and what other stakeholders, their line manager, the CEO, customers think as well. Now, the benefit of this is everyone's views are valued, and then the map for the team coaching is Here's where we are, where do we want to be, and what way can we close the gaps and grow strengths. Over to you, Sameera.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you for bringing that up. That was actually important because I removed the headset, and I'm lucky to have you here, isn't it? So bringing back selecting the team members is good for us as coaches to analyze the patterns of individual behaviors and also as team. So in his book, he actually brought a very interesting way of, he said, you have three characteristics that by certain mix, you can know, kind of like be aware of that, where that person is. So we need a team player who is smart, humble, and hungry. Smart, that means he's, even street smart, that not only their IQ, their EQ is excellent and they know how to deal with people in that term. Humble, that means they are down to earth. And hungry, they are eager to achieve results. And if you notice, our backgrounds, our upbringing, our education system, all has impact on each of them, right? So if we have a team member who is humble and smart, but not very hungry to achieve results, that has something to say about that person. I know it all. I know you guys know it all, but if I'm pushed to do it, I'll do it. Right? If we look at smart and hungry, but not humble, we know. I wonder if you came across those people, smart and want to achieve everything. And now we are calling them the red zone chickens, right? And then we have the humble and hungry, but not smart. So that's our, how we call that person? That's our messy chicken. They want to do a lot of stuff, but they are always in some kind of mistakes, right? So when we look at that, what we can do about this, Sameera? I mean, why are you bringing this? My point is, each of us are in different mix of these in different aspects. Sometimes if we talk about these teams when they are on task and what is in it for them and what are they bringing to the table, okay? So some of the ideas are, we need to acknowledge the differences and the behavior. Sometimes if we notice a lot of conflicts or silent moments are happening, we as coaches can impact on the team, asking them to slow down and reflect. What's going on? What's not been said? What are we avoiding? Right? And also being more proactive by asking the team if we ever came across a discriminating comment or something that offends certain backgrounds, certain ethnic groups, certain type of people. Especially when we work in a diverse team, what are our action points to follow? All right. So it can be like, if we ever did something like that, we will stop, acknowledge that happened, and apologize and move on. Right? So look, we as team coaches can also look for signs in the meetings. If they are, kind of like interrupting each other, and does it happen for a specific type of people? Feedback. Sometimes I would ask someone else to attend my sessions and ask for my peer feedback. Did you see me doing anything? Am I excluding anyone from the conversation intentionally? Right. Ongoing coaching for us as coaches, supervision, and for them. And I like that, ABC, always be contracting, going back to where we stand. Check-ins. When the sprint is over, now there is a time for you to sit down and do a retrospective with the team. What went well? What stopped? What were the barriers? How are we taking this forward, right? What are the learnings? And what did we do that we didn't like? And that happens if we create a safe environment where everybody's voice is heard, regardless of where they come from, regardless of their abilities. If they are not the right people to be in the group, we already had the team design step ahead, right? The right competencies are included in that team, okay? Because if the safety is not there, it's quite difficult for us to bring ourselves and others from red zone to green zone. We need to deal with the big issues first, right? So I'm bringing you here. So let me just take that, bring you all to me, bring everyone to me. What is your biggest takeaway of this small talk about chickens? And of course, you can write it on my board. You have some sticky notes here. Let me just bring them up. Or you can write it in the chat box. Let me give you a minute to do that.
So what came up for me was a total reaction at first with the chickens, and you know, feeling sorry for them and how horrid that is. And yet it's fact that some people in organizations actually feel like that themselves, and that thing of when you're a team coach or a leader, staying with the yuck and the mess is so important. If we avoid it and try and, you know, skirt over it, then it will never be addressed, but it will keep popping up.
True. True. And it's very easy, Claire. Let me just stop sharing here and I'll look at the board results in a bit. It's quite easy, Claire, for us to go into that zone where we don't see and appreciate others' differences because we went into our aggressive mindset. Right? So it's as easy as, let me just do an experiment with you guys. Do you have a piece of paper, Claire, in front of you? And maybe I can encourage the rest to do that. Do you have like a piece of paper? Right? Good, you have one. And the rest, you are also invited if you want to do that. Take piece of paper, okay, look at it, try to connect with it, try to touch it. Try to imagine writing your name on it. Okay. Imagine you're writing your main goals on this piece of paper. Imagine that you have all your brilliant ideas on this piece of paper. Okay. Try hugging the piece of paper. Did you hug your piece of paper, Claire? All right. I know, I saw your face. You will not like me. You don't want to work with me. And it's that easy for us to shift from a green to red zone, right? How many times when somebody interrupts us in the meeting, in a conversation, discounted our ideas, and this was our reaction. I'm sorry to bring you in that zone, Claire. I will iron it later. Iman says,
Iman, do you want to share? You've got a red t-shirt on, Iman. Is there anything you'd like to say about this right now?
No, just I was just gonna, say that, Sameera, you have just scared the hell out of me. I was just hugging it, and suddenly one thing out, oh, you blew my mind. Okay, what exactly you're doing over here? It was really nice. It was really nice. Thank you.
Pleasure. So I'm
Very
bringing this
impactful.
to thank you, Claire. Now the floor is yours. If you have any questions, any comments, I'm here to answer. I would love to read the chat box though. True. It's okay, Dr. Muhammad. We have it we will have it recorded. Inshallah, and we'll put it on our channel. Love that, Ian. That's a beautiful one. Yeah, doctor. You can have, by the way, you have the access to the board, right? So if you click on this, you will have access to this board forever. You can print it, you can download it, you can have the photos, and so on.
Sameera, I have a question, my
Go
dear.
ahead.
Yes, this method that you are using is really phenomenal. It's really beautiful, and the thing that you are connecting, with deep levels of people, especially in sessions during, especially coaching sessions, organizational meetings, and whatever it is, it's awesome. I would like you to share some of your, experiences of, your actual experiences. No need to name any company or something like this. To have the aha moment inside that company after this experiment, after this, this journey that you have take us all through that.
Yeah. So Iman, there are plenty. I use the same methods and on top of it, other methods as well. So in Coach Me, we are trained to use lots of metaphoric and playfulness in our sessions, right? I also, when I do training sessions, not necessarily a coaching session, we do the same thing. We use coach-like conversations in the training sessions. So I can bring a couple of examples, and there are many, where in one of the organizations we worked with, we had around 55 seniors, middle management actually, but they are about to retire. Okay, about to retire. And then we have entire new assistant or the acting supervisors who will replace them. So what happened is quite interesting. A lot of EDI context was in that conversation. These people are younger. We don't want to teach them. We learned in a hard way. Let them learn. I don't have time to teach them. And the younger generations were saying, these guys are old school. They don't want us to learn from them. They hide work. And some of them were from different ethnic groups. The country which I was working was quite big and diverse. So they had this thing that this guy is from North. I don't like him. This guy is of South. This guy is not pure our nationality. So you see how difficult conversations we had to tackle in that. Now, after 1.5 years, coaching is one of the methods they are using. They embedded a coaching culture. They have coaching center. We are still supervising some of them. And I'm not saying it's 100%. Even the the medicine is not 100% nowadays, if you notice. But it was one of the approaches we've done. And of course, I have a lot of other stories quite relevant to the same idea. Okay.
Thanks a lot. You were playing with Fireball, I suppose, over there.
Yeah, and that was an interesting, because I was also pictured as a female 151 centimeter tall lady coming to coach 55 managers from a plant and industrial oriented background. So that was a different battle I was working with, but
yes.
It worked.
Yes, congrats. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So Claire, over to you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your generosity and interactiveness. I'm grateful. Thank you.
There's a lot of thank yous and appreciation in the chat box, Sameera. Thank you for always giving us amazing insight and interactive sessions, and your way of delivering with such energy really compels people to stay and listen. So I really appreciate that. We now